had just turned 13, and a friend of the family asked if I wanted to come and hang out and work around the kennel. He had a bunch of sled dogs that he did. Started running dogs and hooking up teams and, you know, falling in love with it. So it was I got hooked real easily. And then after 4 years of me working there, he was retiring, and I bought dogs from him because it was like they were my friends. I raised most of those dogs. I got 10 young dogs that I had raised over those 4 years before that. Moved them into my parents' backyard, and then soon after there was an opportunity to kind of help out another kennel. Between spring and fall of that first year, we went from 15 dogs to 70 dogs and kind of got right into it. After a few years, my wife joined the team.
I started out guiding full-time, and I was one of the main guides here, and that was the early days of us getting on the internet, so it was like that was where suddenly the exposure was huge, so we started to build up our kind of what is now our main program.
There's a lot of dogs around here. This is a retirement kennel. These are retired racing dogs. They're not retired sled dogs. They're not retired from being a sled dog. They are just hanging out and keep doing what they love at a schedule that works best for them now that they're not in their prime racing years anymore. We developed into a retirement kennel a little bit over time, and that wasn't the original plan. I think it was the dog's plan, though. This is kind of a unique place where we're focused on working with the older dogs. So this is Galaxy. He's one of our older dogs. We have quite a few. They're all older here, but he's 14, which isn't like super old, but he's still actively running with the tours. So we often see dogs into their mid-teens, occasionally even upper teens. We've had dogs as old as 19 years old that are still running and active. And so that's kind of our mission here, working with these older dogs. That's what we focus on, is kind of a retirement program. Dogs are generally coming here between the ages of 7 and 10. Feeding 90 sled dogs, it doesn't take that long of time. I mean, we have a pretty efficient program. We got their pails are hanging in their house, and we go around with a 5-gallon bucket and a scooper. It's a ground meat mixed with water and kibble. You mix up kind of a stew consistency, maybe. Like in the morning it might be more watery, like a chicken noodle soup consistency, and in the evening it's a little thicker. And then we are going around with the buckets and scooping out each dog, and you're just going right along. It takes maybe 10 minutes at most, so it's not that difficult.
So my name is Tommy, and so I am the son of the owners of this business, Jake and Jessica, and I'm the oldest of me and my 3 siblings. One of my siblings is my sister Kia, who is 12 years old, Chloe, who is 6, and Spencer, who is 8 months, and I'm 14 years old.
Our kids are growing up in this way of life, and we're kind of sharing like the passion that we have. It's not like they're just doing it because like, oh, this is what we do. It's like they love it, and I mean, they're out there, doing chores. Like when I didn't even have to ask them, they're just like, yeah, this is what needs to be done, and they like to do it.
It's kind of the whole point of it, I think, is just them being able to like work and be around and see that we're passionate about it, and just kind of teaching them that they should find their own passions too. And so it's a lot of fun though, having them here and being able to work and play alongside them through it all. Yeah.
So that's Ringling. Yeah. Come here. You ready? I'm always kind of watching how dogs are doing, watching the teams around me, the people around, kind of make sure things are going smooth. But mostly I'm just out here enjoying it just as much as these dogs are.
I was never an athletic person, so it felt like, oh, this is going to be tricky or difficult for me, but it wasn't, and it comes naturally when you're out there. The feeling of the sled and how to move it and how to brake and how to, and being in tune with the dogs is just very natural. It's like, wow, this is something that I can do, and we can build a life doing that. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, we still do things fairly old school. We don't do like online booking either. So in addition to all of that, this is more complicated. We don't do online booking. I work via email or on the phone. And so I end up talking to almost every visitor that comes here before they get here. So it's not just like you can click a button and get signed up here. And that's how we want it, and how a lot of people really appreciate that still, having that personal touch. And we get compliments kind of on how our booking system is set up, just to kind of, it feels like you're dealing with people from the beginning, not just a calendar, or a computer. So that's super important.
The way our program works, it's generally running from mid-December to late March. There's days where there might be like 6 to 8 groups of, usually 2 to 8-ish, maybe, people. So especially, the busiest time is around the holidays, kind of the few weeks around Christmas and New Year's is busiest. And then it kind of stays busy, but just kind of more focused on weekends and stuff. We might have groups where we're going out with 6 teams in a convoy and in one wave, and then we'll launch another 3 or 4 teams in another wave, another convoy, and be out on the trail at the same time, just try not to run into each other. And then we do that twice a day, a lot of times. So, Dogpile. Hi, Sled.
I love hanging out with these dogs, hanging out with the people. It's an awesome thing.
Looking to the future for this kennel, I still let dogs out. I plan that it stays the same and we keep doing what we do. I have a huge passion for working with older dogs, and if someday like one of my kids or maybe grandkid or something wants to take it over, it would be, they would have to prove to me first that they are doing it for the right reasons, and they can't just do it because it's the easy thing to do, because it's what they've always known. I want them to go do other things and find out what their passions are. If it happens to be that one of their passions is what we do here, then great, but I'm not betting on that, I'm not counting on that. I don't necessarily want that necessarily if it's not the right thing, so.
I definitely want to keep doing it for a long time, as long as we can, but then also know when it might be a good time to someday hand it over to somebody and make sure that they're in a position where it's what's best for the dogs and keep it going. And
it just never gets old working with sled dogs. People ask, like, do you ever get to go on vacation? You got a lot of dogs here, how does that work? I was like, I'm on vacation every day. Like, if you call it work, then we work a lot. We're working way too many hours and stuff, but like, it's a way of life, it's a passion, it's not work to us. It's, if you love what you do, you're never gonna work a day in your life. And that's the same for the sled dogs. I mean, they're called working dogs, but they're not working, they're just having a blast doing what they love. Cruising the trail is an awesome feeling. It feels cool. You're holding on to a handlebar, you're feeling the power, the torque, the passion. But the best part about it all is just to be with the dogs. I mean, like, they are just thriving and having so much fun in life, and we get to be a part of it. They let us be a part of it. It feels good to the soul.